Hello everyone, welcome to Escoffier Online. My name is Chef Caesar. Today I want to show you how to make a pumpkin Alfredo. Right now they're in season and this sauce is very tasty. You can make it for lunch or dinner and it's really easy to make. So the first thing you want to do, you want to get your pumpkins ready. You can either buy, pumpkin already in the can, but you know what, it's always better to buy them fresh. So yeah, I buy these little mini pumpkins. What do you want to do? You want to cut the top off, take all the seeds out, and you want to roast them. So I put them in a little roasting pan with about 1/4 cup of water. You cover those with aluminum foil and roast them for about 45 minutes until they get nice and soft. You can see that once they're done, you're able to scrape the flesh really easy, like this. So you can just take a spoon, scrape the flesh really easily, comes out. Okay, as you can see, nice and smooth puree. So that's the first step you want to get done. And you can do this ahead of time. Once you have your puree done, you can store in the refrigerator, even freeze it. So this is really nice, and it's much better than the stuff you buy in the can. I mean, and it's really simple to do. So that's your first step. Then we need to make your sauce. Okay, I got my half and a half. Actually, I got some milk here and some heavy cream. You can also use half and half. If you don't want to buy like a box of milk and a carton of cream, just buy the half and half. It's the same thing. I also got some Parmesan cheese. I like to use the one that comes in the wedge like this because when you buy the stuff that comes in the grated, they add starches to it because they don't want the cheese to kind of clump back together. So it's going to be nice and powdered. But one of the things that happens when you're trying to make the sauce, the cheese doesn't melt very well because when you add starches to a hot liquid, it gets clumped up and it doesn't get nice and smooth. So I like to grate my own cheese, and this is much better. It's all natural and there's nothing added to it. So I also got some really nice chopped garlic here. And one thing I like to mention, if you don't like a lot of garlic, you can slice it like this, big pieces, so you can pull out the garlic at the end of the sauce. But if you like garlic in the sauce, you like the flavor, you can mince it really fine like this, so the garlic stays in the sauce. I also got some butter here, which is gonna be to make your sauce. I got my pot of water here. I'm gonna be using fresh pasta, so you want to get your water going before you start making the sauce. So that way you don't have to wait too long. So I'm gonna turn my pan on here and start making our sauce. This is very easy to do. So I got probably like 4 tablespoons of butter. This is a very rich sauce. Okay, a lot of butter. So if you're like in a diet, you're gonna have to break it today because I mean, as you can see, a lot of cream, a lot of butter. So you gotta be careful when you are using whole butter too. You don't want to get the butter too hot because it's gonna brown very quick due to the milk salts in the butter. So you gotta be careful with the heat. You want to start this like a medium heat. That way you want to melt the butter really nice. Keep an eye on it. So we're gonna start by adding the garlic here. It's just gonna sweat the garlic. You don't want to brown the garlic either. You don't want to burn it because when you burn garlic, it's like a bitter taste, and you don't want that in your sauce. Also, you want to have a nice color in the sauce. If you brown it too much, it's gonna add to the sauce a little color, and you don't want that. Also, it's gonna look like a little brown spots in the sauce, and you don't want that. You want to have a beautiful white sauce when you're making the Alfredo sauce. So I'm gonna add my minced garlic since I like garlic. So okay, about 1 clove I did. So we're gonna sweat it, get some flavor in there. Okay. And again, be careful not to get it too hot. As soon as you see starts to like bubble a lot, you want to add the cream so the temperature kind of drops and then the garlic doesn't get burned. But again, you want to get it nice and it's going to start to smell really good too. So you're going to know when the garlic's going to get a little bit cooked in there. Now we're gonna add our cream. I got about 1.5 cups. You can only do 1 cup, just depending on how many people you're doing. And this sauce is basically done by reduction. A lot of sauces that you do are probably taken up with a starch like a roux or like a cornstarch slurry. This one is taken up by reduction, which means we're gonna reduce the sauce, and that's gonna help to thicken up the sauce. Also, some of the pumpkin puree is gonna go in there. It's gonna help to thicken up the sauce and the cheese too. So you got some more components that's gonna help you to thicken up the sauce. when you're making the sauce. Many times when you're making just Alfredo sauce, the recipe probably calls for just plain heavy cream. And the reason we do this is because we're only adding cheese. And in this case, we're going to add some of the pumpkin puree, which is going to help to really thicken up the sauce much quicker. Otherwise, you might end up with something too thick. And when you're making the sauce, it should be only be taken up to like a nape consistency. I'm going to show you what nape means once the sauce gets to that stage. So this is going to start to simmer here in a little bit. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask along the way. And this is a very quick and easy sauce to make. I'm also going to be adding some of my puree here, about 1 cup to the sauce. You want to take a whisk. You want to whisk that puree in there. Make sure it's all. And it's gonna get like a little bit like a yellowish color here from the puree, and that's okay. Okay, so we're gonna break down this puree. It's very smooth. Once the pumpkins are roasted really nice, if you scrape it with a spoon, you don't have to do anything. I mean, you don't have to puree in the blender. It's just when you break it down like this, it's very easy to do. I also like to season my sauce with a little white pepper. The reason why I do that because when you're using black pepper, you're gonna see like little black specks in the sauce, and you know it doesn't look that nice. But again, if that's all you have, that's okay too. There's nothing wrong with that. But most of the time when I'm like making like a white sauce, I like to use white pepper here. Okay, so. And you want to simmer this for a couple minutes until it gets nice to nape consistency. And don't forget, we're going to still add the cheese. That's going to really help us to thicken up the sauce. And this is going to come to a simmer very quick. So be careful not to burn the cream in your sauce because dairy, when it burns, it has like a really bitter taste, and you don't want that. So be careful. I'm going to add all my puree here. You can also make your sauce ahead of time. If you don't want to use it right away, you can make it ahead of time, cool it down, and then just kind of heat it back up again before you toss it with the pasta. Well, so many times we do that in a restaurant setting. We make like a batch. That way, when we have to make an order, it doesn't take too long. All we have to do is kind of heat it back up and just cook the pasta right away. And especially if you're using fresh pasta. Fresh pasta cooks very quick. You only need it to cook for about a minute, and then you're done. On the other hand, dry pasta, we have to pretty much cook it ahead of time and refresh it, and then we're just going to heat it up to when we order it comes in. But again, you can also use dry pasta, but you know what, fresh is so much better. Once you guys taste fresh pasta, you're never going to go back to like using dry. So I got my sauce here kind of simmering there. Okay, I'm also going to add a little bit of salt there. I'm also going to add some salt to my water. You guys, when you're making pasta, it's very important that you guys add a lot of salt because starches absorb a lot of salt, and especially fresh pasta. So your water should be like, salty like seawater. Okay, otherwise your pasta might be, a little bland. But again, that's plenty there. Now my sauce starts to boil here a little bit. Smells wonderful. Look at that. It's got a beautiful color too, a little yellowish. And be careful, if you guys buy the pumpkin in the can, Make sure that you don't buy the pumpkin pie filling, because that one has a lot of sugar. You just want to get the plain pumpkin in the can. It's not pumpkin pie, because otherwise it's gonna be too sweet. And there's two different types. So you want to make sure if you buy the stuff in the can, which you can, you get just a pumpkin puree. Look at that. Nice. I'm also going to be adding a little bit of nutmeg. If you guys can't find the whole nutmeg, which is much better, you can use the ground. Just a little bit here. This is wonderful. I mean, it smells so nice when you like grating fresh. Okay. Now I'm gonna add some of my cheese, and you're gonna see that this is gonna thicken up right away with the cheese, and it's gonna melt really nice. And that's the reason why I like to grate my own cheese, because like I said before, the stuff that you buy, which comes already grated, they add starches to the cheese, so it doesn't stick back together. Okay, and you see it right away. It got very thick. So my sauce is almost done. This is what nape means. Okay, if you take a spoon in there, you dip it, you run your finger. It doesn't run down again. It just kind of stays nice and coated in the back. So that's what nape means. So our sauce is pretty much done here. As you can see, it got thick right away. Now we're going to start my my water here. The sugar is boiling. If your sauce gets a little bit too thick, you can also add a little more milk. So remember, it's one of the things that you can fix. Okay. I want to taste my sauce. Make sure it has enough salt. It's really nice. It's very smooth. Look at that. So as you can see, if you were to use the sauce later on, so once it's done, you want to cool it down in an ice bath before it goes in the refrigerator. So you make an ice bath, and the best way to cool it down, the faster way, is to put it in a metal container, because plastic it's an insulator, it doesn't transfer heat, so it's better to put it in a metal container to cool down to 40 degrees before it goes out in the refrigerator. That way it's safe to use when you get it out. So look at this. Beautiful sauce, nice and smooth. Now we're gonna, my water is boiling here. And like I said before, I'm using some fresh pasta, so this is very easy to make and very quick, the process. Because pasta, especially fresh pasta, cooks very fast. You only need to cook it for a minute. If you make your own, again, it's so easy to make fresh pasta. I got this from the store, but you know what? Making it fresh is really, really easy. But one of the things you want to remember when you're making fresh pasta, the key is to really roll it out very thin. Because if you don't, when you put it in the water, it's going to really absorb a lot of water. It's like a sponge, and it gets very thick, and you want to end up with something very nice. So that's why you need to roll it out to very almost paper thin. So I got my pasta here. Pull it apart. Some fettuccine. And you can do a different kind of pasta, tortellinis, even raviolis you can use with to serve the sauce. So it goes in the water here. Okay. Just for 1 minute here. Look at this. My sauce is very nice. As you guys can see, it's very quick to make. Once you have your mise en place set up, everything ready to go, making the sauce is so easy and quick. So I'm gonna get my bowl ready. I'm also gonna chop a little parsley here real quick to kind of top my pasta off at the end. Okay. It's like a little garnish. Put it to the side right here. A little parsley. So, yeah, fresh pasta only needs to cook for about 45 minutes to 1 minute. You don't want to go over 2 minutes because it's gonna start it's overcooked, and you don't want that. You want to have a nice consistency, al dente. And the same thing when you cook in dry pasta. Dry pasta takes about 8 to 10 minutes to cook. Also, another thing you guys didn't see me do, put oil. A lot of people put oil in the water, and that's one of the things you don't want to do, because when you put oil in the water, especially with fresh pasta or even dry pasta, when you drain it, all the oil is going to stick to the pasta. So when you put it in the sauce is going to just run off, and you don't want it. You want some of the sauce to cling to the pasta, and that's why you don't want to put in the oil, because otherwise, I mean, even if you put any oil in it, the oil is going to rise to the top, and I mean, this not going to really do anything for the pasta. So as you can see, okay. Another thing too, you don't want to get your sauce too thick, because when you put this, when you toss the pasta with the sauce, a lot of starch from the sauce is going to thicken up the pasta too. So that's why you don't want to get it too thick. Otherwise, you end up with a really clumpy pasta at the end, and you only want the sauce to really cover the noodles really nice. So this is how you want to do it. Okay. Now my pasta's done here with the sauce. I'm gonna plate it. Okay. So look at this, a beautiful plate of pasta. Okay. And when you plate pasta, you want to kind of twist it like this. Okay, twist it and pull up. That way you're going to add some height to your pasta dish. Otherwise, it's going to be just flat. And you don't want this. You want to like kind of put a pile and twist and pull up, okay? So that way it stays nice and high. See that? You want to add some height to your dishes anytime you're plating something like this. So, and this is how you do it with pasta. Otherwise, it just kind of goes flat on the plate, and you don't want that. Also, be careful not to put too much sauce. I mean, you don't need like a pool of sauce in the bottom of the bowl. You only want enough sauce to, like, coat the noodles really nice, and that's it, really. Look at that. Nice and height here. Look at that. We're gonna top it off with some freshly chopped parsley, a little bit more grated Parmesan cheese on top. Okay. Look at that. Now we're gonna put a little parsley sprig on top. And then you got a beautiful pasta dish, okay? And again, this is, as you can see, very easy to make, and very tasty, delicious. And you can do a lot of different things, okay? Look at that. Nice. So you guys, if you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I will see you back again in a couple of weeks. But it was nice to have you guys here this morning to show you how to make this easy and wonderful dish. Thank you so much, and have a nice day.